Art has not only been a store of wealth, but also an investment amongst the wealthy and royal families since the dawn of time. It largely still holds true today, in addition to some potential inflation hedging properties. I'll also be showing you how everyday investors such as you and I on how we can diversify our portfolios and get in on this investment that was once exclusive to only the wealthy. There is a reason why the ultra wealthy loves art, not because they just love looking at it, but it's been arguably a great investment. Contemporary art has actually outpaced the S&P 500 over the last 30-year period from 1995 to 2024 and has historically appreciated in certain periods of high or rising inflation, even exceeding traditional hedges like gold and real estate. By 2026, the estimated value of art and collectibles is expected to surpass $2.8 trillion and make up approximately 11% of portfolios of ultra high net worth individuals, according to a 2023 Deloitte report and a 2024 Bank of America study respectively. If the ultra wealthy can enjoy the benefits of art investing, why can't we? Today, art investing is no longer a secret. Regular retail investors, including you and I, can now invest in shares of great artwork offerings featuring artists like Picasso and Banksy. I'm not kidding. I personally own shares of this Banksy offering featuring Choose Your Weapon, and I didn't have to spend millions at a traditional auction. I use Masterworks, which is a platform enabling everyday investors like you and me to invest in shares of multi-million-dollar art offerings. It's a platform to easily diversify with art. In today's video, I'll be sharing 5 key benefits of art investing and some of the cons with Masterworks. Masterworks is the sponsor of today's video, but as a user myself, I'll also be sharing the risks that you should be aware of along with my general thoughts. Can art really beat stocks? To understand why and when should you and I consider investing in art, let's look at the numbers and compare it against the stock market. First, historical appreciation. According to Masterworks analysis, since 1995, contemporary art prices have gone up around 11.2% per year. That's actually higher than the S&P 500 10.1% annual return over the same time period. Pretty good if you ask me. Next up, volatility and liquidity. Stocks move up and down in prices every single day, reacting instantly to news and earnings report. Art is different. It's not liquid. You only see prices when pieces sell at an auction or when they get appraised. But other than that, you probably won't be seeing prices move very much. This means that art prices don't spike or crash whenever the stock market does. Sounds good, right? But when you do sell art, prices can be unpredictable. Some pieces can shoot up in value, while others can take years to find a buyer. To me, art is an attractive investment because it adds an element of inflation hedging properties to my portfolio. When we're living in an inflationary economy, art can often do well because wealthy people often put their monies into tangible assets during inflation, including real estate, gold, and even fine art. They hold their value better than cash or stocks. So art can be a powerful hedge against inflation. So, is art a good investment for you? I think of art as an add-on supplement to your portfolio, a slice of the overall strategy, not a total replacement for stocks, but something to add an extra layer of diversification and to remain uncorrelated in certain times of historical conditions, like high inflationary periods, recessions, or even stagflation like where our economy is heading right now. In fact, Masterworks data also shows that simply allocating just 5% of your portfolio to art in a traditional 60-40 portfolio has increased the performance and reduced volatility. Let's first quickly talk about how Masterworks works in 3 steps. Number 1, identification and acquisition. Masterworks has a team of experts identifying art using their proprietary data to determine which art markets have documented momentum and anticipated long-term demand. They use a rigorous due diligence process, so rigorous that less than 3% of their overall artworks have met their criteria as of the first quarter of 2025. Then their acquisition team locates what they believe is a good piece at a fair price and agrees to purchase the artwork. Number 2, register and securitize the art. After acquiring the art, they file it with an offering with the SEC, which then allows them to break that offering into shares, allowing people like you and me to invest into them at a fraction of the price. They handle all the work from the administrative paperwork to storing the physical art pieces. Number 3, selling the artwork. Masterworks will then find a buyer for the painting and hopefully sell it at a profit and redistributes those returns back to you as the investor, minus their fees, which are 1.5% annual management fee, 10% expense allocation, and 20% of the profits, leaving you 80% of the gains. Note that the 1.5% annual fee isn't something that you have to pay directly. This fee is distributed in forms of equity, which means that you won't be paying the fee with cash, though over time, your ownership stake will get diluted. So far, Masterworks has 23 successful exits from their over 450 offerings, all making a profit. But remember, past performance is not indicative of future returns. From those 23 exits, investors have received demonstrative returns of 17.6%, 17.8%, and 21.5%. That are amongst the assets that are held over a year, not including unsold works. The average time frame for it to sell those paintings is years. So if you're in it for the short term, then this asset class is probably not what you want to be in. Masterworks advertises a 3 to 10 year for holding those paintings, and although some of those paintings may be sold a little bit faster, Masterworks can't make any guarantees about the timing. You can alternatively sell your shares to an unaffiliated secondary market to other investors, but even then it could still be illiquid, so it's best to just be under the assumption that you'll be locked in for years. Now let's talk about why Masterworks is becoming such a popular way to invest in art. Here are 5 reasons why I chose to allocate some of my own capital to invest in art. Number 1, accessibility. Investing in art used to be exclusive to the ultra wealthy collectors. Back then, we needed millions to buy paintings at Sotheby's or Christie's auction. It's no wonder there is that saying that the rich get richer. It's because they have access to these amazing investments that nobody else has access to. I always thought investing in art sounded great, but I definitely don't have the millions to spend at a fancy auction. I'm sure they would just reject me at the door when they see my TJ Maxx suit. That's why Masterworks is an innovative platform that removes the high barrier of art investing. Look, I'm not the most tech savvy person, but this platform is pretty straightforward to use. It has a great interface, really easy to use, which is my second benefit of investing with Masterworks, ease of use. If you've never bought art before, assuming that you've never done so, now you have a easy, user-friendly platform where everything is clearly laid out. You could browse available artworks, see detailed information, and invest in shares with just a few clicks. When I first got started, I literally signed up and was approved for investing, browsed our offering, and made my first investment in about 30 minutes or so. Number 3, portfolio diversification. At the beginning of the year, when we saw stocks and crypto markets drop significantly, my art still held onto its internally appraised value. While not all offerings maintained their previous quarter's worth, Masterworks did a study showing that simply adding a 5% allocation to the classic 60-40 portfolio will lower the frequency of volatility by 44% over 5 years and 57% over 10 years. As mentioned earlier, art is a completely different asset class from stocks, bonds, and real estate. The prices of art have very low correlation to the upwards and downward trends of the stock market. Take a look at this graph. So it is a defensive asset to help investors smooth out the ups and downs in their portfolio. I personally believe that you should consider adding some art investments to your portfolio if you don't have enough real estate or if you're not a fan of bonds. Number 4, professional expertise. My favorite thing about Masterworks is their expert team. They don't randomly just pick art, they analyze decades of auction data and market trends. They actually have a research team focusing on analyzing trends, historical sales, and collector behaviors. Less than 3% of their artworks they review passed their due diligence process as of this year. They were offered over 15,000 artworks, but only bought about 433, making that only a 2.8% of all artworks that has passed their criteria. And these can end up being pieces from some of the most famous artists in the modern era, like Picasso, Basquiat, and Banksy. I personally don't have any expertise in art, and I also don't want to be spending hours researching something that is clearly not my forte. So I'm letting Masterworks do all the heavy lifting and research for me. Number 5, long-term capital appreciation. Since 1995, contemporary art has provided an attractive price appreciation with limited periods of price depreciation. This graph shows the number of price depreciation categorized by asset classes. In this case, price depreciation is over a 2-year period. Prior to 2023, contemporary art has only experienced this 3 times, which is only after corporate bonds, which we all know is typically on the safer side. We can also see that contemporary art has the highest compounded annual growth rate amongst these asset classes. So to summarize, even in this current period of price stabilization, it historically has less negative years and higher returns. Now, let's be real for a moment. What are the potential risks of art investing? I also want to share my personal feedback for Masterworks on how I think their product can be improved. The first drawback you should know is their fees. Masterworks charges a 1.5% management fee to handle all the research, storage, and insurance for each masterpieces. Again, this isn't a fee that actually comes out of your account, but rather the equity. They also take a 10% expense allocation upfront and a 20% profit once the artwork is sold. This is very similar to the standard hedge fund industry 2 and 20 fee model. Personally, I find those fees a little bit higher than I'd prefer. I get that running an innovative platform like this isn't cheap, but lowering the fees would definitely encourage more activity on a platform. So when you invest, make sure to keep those fees in mind. Number 2, not fully liquid. Masterworks states that they expect to hold pieces anywhere from the targeted period of 3 to 10 years, maybe even longer. Historically, from their 23 exits so far, it's been as quick as 29 days, and some took almost 4 years. Of course, it could potentially even take longer, but those were from the exits of their over 450 offerings so far. Even though Masterworks offers access to an unaffiliated secondary market, it could still take a while for you to find a buyer for your share. You should treat Masterworks like a long-term investment, not a quick flip. Number 3, no guarantees. Just like stocks, there are no guarantees an artwork will appreciate. Some art pieces will go up in value, others may barely move, and some may even decline. The expert team at Masterworks helps reduce this risk, but nothing is certain. So there could potentially be a case where you hold onto your shares for many years only to be sold at a loss. Of course, this can potentially happen. However, from their 23 exits out of their 450 plus offerings, so far, all have made a profit. So they clearly have demonstrated a great track record, but of course anything can still happen. Make sure you diversify, and I don't recommend relying on art as your only investment. Number 4, limited investment choices. Right now, Masterworks offers contemporary arts from established big-name artists. Offering blue-chip art is actually a good thing since it reduces the risk of investors who are not experts in this field, but it also means less variety. If you're looking to invest in emerging artists that can multiply your net worth if you bet on the right person, you'll find less of those options like that over here. Personally, I'm okay with this because I like the safety of investing in more established artists. What I think Masterworks can improve on is mainly their fee structure. Maybe they could explore flexible fees for different tiers of investments. I don't know. Also, I'd love to see more frequent updates and clearer tracking of my investment's current value. Right now, the dashboard is decent, but prices aren't updated frequently. Improving this will make Masterworks a better place for investors to buy and sell at a more ideal price. I like the opportunity that Masterworks has provided to retail investors. Innovations like this should always be encouraged to lower the barrier to wealth building. If you like my review of Masterworks, please give me a like and consider subscribing for more wealth building tips. You could check it out for yourself by creating a free account. There could be a waitlist considering that they have over 1 million users, but if you sign up with my link, you could skip that waitlist. You know where the link is, but remember, investing does involve risk, and past performance is not indicative of future returns. This is not financial advice, nor an endorsement to invest. And I do own shares of artworks on this platform as of time of recording. You can check out this video over here to learn my top 3 investing strategies for 2025.